John, who was eating, suddenly realized that Peter hadn't touched a bite of the porridge in his bowl, but he and his wife were eating it. But there was a strange taste in the porridge. Looking at his son's guilty expression, John felt that the situation is not good. He grabbed him by the shirt.
What did you do? You tell me. Tell me, what did you do?
You hurt my sister. What did you say?
Oh my God.
He knew that his son had put rat poison in the porridge. John told his wife to call an ambulance, but when Anna picked up the phone, she realized that the phone line had been cut by her son. The next moment, the boy's name was Peter and he was a loner, never liked to talk to his classmates, because when he slept at night, often heard strange noises coming from the walls. So Peter summoned up the courage. He leaned over the wall and knocked twice. Frightened, Peter called his mom over. Mom listened to the wall for a while. She didn't hear anything. She thought the house was old. There must be mice in the house, so that her son could sleep well. Anna asked her husband to bring a bag of rat poison and sprinkled it in the corner of the wall, and Peter went to sleep. But he didn't know something terrible was trapped in the wall, trying to get out. The next night, Peter was awakened again by the sound of the walls. When he turned on the light, he heard the voice of a girl. The girl said she was Peter's sister.
Don't be scared. I just want to talk.
Because she was born with a disability, her parents had locked her in the wall. Since then, the two of them have become good friends. One day, the teacher paid a surprise home visit because he noticed something strange about Peter's recent drawings. The word help was written on the black wall. After seeing the painting, Anna's face became grave. She dismissed the teacher on the grounds that her son had a vivid imagination. She sent the teacher away. When she came back to the house, took the painting and found Peter.
This is your room, Peter. Why are you asking for help? Why are you asking strangers for help, Peter?
I'm not. She is.
What was that?
It's just a scary drawing, Mom.
Oh, that imagination of yours, Peter. It's going to get you into trouble one day.
The next day in crafts class, Peter was painting a pumpkin for Halloween. The teacher knew he was an introvert, so she kept praising him. Peter's drawing was the best in the class, but that made Will jealous. When school was over, Will deliberately pushed Peter and broke his pumpkin. This made Peter very sad. At night, when he was sleeping, the voices in the walls resounded again.
I bet you're strong enough to stand up for yourself if you just try.
At the instigation of his sister, Peter chose revenge at recess. Seeing the school bully with a broken leg, Peter was very surprised. He was a kind man. No one could believe he would do such a thing, but the school chose to suspend Peter. When he got home, Dad was very angry. To pay for the medical bills, the family had spent all their savings. Angry John pushed open the refrigerator, opened the door to a secret room. He was going to put Peter in the basement to reflect, but this is a very scary thing for an 8-year-old. For an 8-year-old, in the darkness of the basement, Peter found a long chain, and in the direction of the chain, he saw a dark dungeon, and at the bottom of the dungeon seemed to hold a terrifying figure. At the same time, the teacher was worried about Peter's psychological well-being. She decided to pay him another home visit. When he saw the other side coming, Peter's father took out a hammer and poured the teacher a cup of coffee with blood on it. The atmosphere in the room became strange. The teacher said she wanted to see Peter, but his mother became very agitated. She even insulted him. Peter in the basement heard the teacher's voice. He kept banging on the wall to try to get help. As he was about to leave, the teacher realized something was wrong.
What is that?
What?
The noise. The banging.
Washing machine.
But the teacher had no choice but to leave. A few days later, his parents finally released him. But after seeing the two of them, Peter's heart developed a strange feeling. In the middle of the night, the bedroom door suddenly opened automatically.
Hello? Mom?
While Peter was in a state of panic, his father came into the room with a strange expression on his face.
Look what you've done to your mother, Peter.
Although what happened just now was just Peter's nightmare, but he was afraid of his parents. After his mother left, Peter found a big hole in the wall. Curious, he looked inside, and this person was Peter's sister. She said she was waiting for her brother to grow up, to be able to move the clock that was blocking the exit. He kept telling Peter that his parents were murderous devils. If he didn't get out of here soon, he'd end up like him. In order to make Peter believe, Sister said there was a body hidden in the pumpkin patch in the backyard. When Peter dug up the pumpkin patch, according to the designated location, he really found a skull. Peter was terrified. He called to get help from his teacher.
I need your help.
His angry mother, without saying a word, she was about to lock Peter in his bedroom, and that's how he found the big hole in the wall. Anna was horrified. It was as if there was something terrible inside the wall.
What did he tell you?
Her mother put Peter in his room and went downstairs to discuss something with John. At that moment, the sister in the wall was tempting Peter. If he didn't do something soon, their parents would put Peter in the wall as well. Hearing each other's words, Peter came downstairs. He saw his parents discussing something. They seemed to be talking about themselves. Peter knew he couldn't wait any longer, so at dinner the next day, he put rat poison in the porridge. John, who ate the most, died instantly. Mother rushed at Peter with a dagger. She was climbing up the stairs and fell down. The dagger in her hand went right into her chest. Peter didn't dare to stay. He was going to take the key from his mother to save his sister. He didn't realize that Anna was still alive. He grabbed his son and kept talking, but Peter didn't listen to him. He took the key and pushed open the clock. He saw a small locked door. Peter inserted the key, but he didn't know what he was letting out. What he was letting out. Peter realized something was wrong. Scared, he turned to run away. There was an eerie laughter behind him. He ran back to his room and locked the door. And that's when a hand stretched out from the darkness of the door and came to Peter's door and complimented him on a job well done. How does it feel to watch your parents die? But then the doorbell rang. There were masked men standing in the doorway. Inside the room, after my sister hid the bodies of my parents, the door suddenly opened automatically, although they found it a bit strange. But in order to avenge their brother's broken leg, they entered the room with weapons in hand, split up to search for Peter's traces. Seeing that no one could be found, one of the pigs started smashing things. But when he turned to leave, he found a hair on the piano he had just smashed. It looked like someone was hiding behind the piano. As he grabbed his weapon and went up to the piano, the pig screamed, startled the others, the boy with the broken leg, and found the body of Peter's mother. Before he could react, his rabbit-masked brother shouted and rushed out. The boy tried to run out the door, then a head of hair fell from the roof into his face. The boy's screams sent another man downstairs to check on him. It wasn't long before his head was gone. Peter was under the bed. He watched his sister crawling up the wall. He bites his hand in horror, afraid to make a sound. My sister said that Peter was born. Her parents were so happy, but when he was born, and they screamed. So my father dug a hole in the basement and made a cage and locked him in. While Peter slept under a warm blanket, he suffered among the cobwebs and rats. He put Peter in the little door behind the clock to make him feel the pain he'd felt all these years. At this point, the teacher felt something was wrong, so he came to the door. He found a pile of bodies in the room. Peter heard the teacher's voice. He told him to run, but the teacher followed his voice to the bedroom. He found Peter through a small hole. The teacher blocked the door with a cupboard. He used a crowbar to make a big hole in the wall and rescued Peter. He ran towards the front door, but just outside the door, Peter's screams came from behind him. He was taken back by his sister again. This time she locked her in the basement. Then she crawled up to Peter like a spider. She was jealous of Peter, who was different from her. But then, the school teacher came to the basement again.
I'll fucking kill you.
She was attacked by her sister's long hair. She tripped and fell to the ground. Just as she was about to be caught by her sister, Peter found her long hair had fallen into the pit, immediately grabbed the hair and climbed up, and escaped from the pit. They smashed each other into the pit and locked up. The sister's voice became gentle again. She said she and Peter shared the same blood. They are the only family in the world. But when Peter refused, the sister's voice grew bold and sent her own curse to him. Every night, Peter couldn't forget to close the door. Every sound he heard at night reminded him of himself.
I will always be with you. Always.